Yo! What's going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper bringing you guys a versus battle. Another installment of the versus series. Today we're covering 7 Deadly Sins in Taizai. We're at the great chapter of 288, and it seems that in 289, we're going to have Escanor fight another one of the Demon King's sons. I've gathered here all of the voices in the Taizai community. I'm just playing just a few of them, and we're here to talk about what could happen in this fight. We're gonna go up and down the list and let's see what you guys think, man. Go ahead, man. I think
so. Yeah. Now we have finally Escanor taken down, or I mean, we'll see. But I'm just saying, Zeldris about to take an L. He is the last son of the royal family, and here's how I kind of see it. Because his nebula is interesting. Escanor we saw as the one wasn't affected by it. Escanor as the one wasn't affected by something else that Meliodas did, and I think Nebula is somewhat similar to it. Because if you remember, in the last move, Meliodas used his 1,000 divine slashes. He coated himself with darkness, lurched at Escanor, and basically slashed him 1,000 times. And Escanor was like, not but an itch, and then he made Meliodas his bitch. So I don't see Amina's Nebula. I don't see Amina's Nebula doing anything to Escanor. I just don't see it, because in essence it's kind of the same thing. It's just a hugely rapid attack after Zeldris basically sucks you in. So I don't see him doing anything. Now what Escanor could do, maybe he is gonna throw a bunch of suns at him or something, or maybe use his Escanor blade. His hand, the down thrust, that's a possibility. But other than that, I just kind of see it. Either Escanor will win, definitely. Zeldris won't die, because keep in mind, when the memories came back, we saw Escanor not as the one, but still buff. So probably shortly after that fight, Zeldris didn't really seem damaged that much. And I just kind of see it being either a draw or, oh yeah, Escanor would have won if this would have continued. But maybe it'll be interrupted because the memories come back. Also, one thing that might contribute, might not. Remember, we saw Escanor cough blood, so that might come into play again and might not. What are you guys, what do you actually think about that? Will it come into play, will it not? What do you think?
Look here, sir. The son of the Demon King will not lose. Alright. Ominous Nebula may not be affecting this dirty fucking mustache having beef of a fucking, I don't know what even to call him, bro.
This grotesque.
It may not be second in him right now, bro.
Call him the one.
Oh yeah, the one who's about to get smacked. That's who he is. Listen here, man. I'm expecting this Ominous Nebula to, first off, get a turn up. It may not be affecting him right now, but Zeldris can do a lot more. He's been standing here the entire time. And after that happens, this is the fastest swordsman in the demon realm, bro. If Meliodas can cut Escanor, because guess what? Those 1,000 divine slashes, they did cut him. It just didn't affect him. He'll cut him deeper. That's all it really is, bro. That's really all it is. But I don't want to take up all the time. Let's go from the top. Blake, what are your thoughts on first off, the chapter in general, 288, and then the Escanor versus Zeldris fight?
It was a good chapter. Based off how the fights have been going so far, I feel like I honestly don't think this fight's going to be finished. I feel like something's going to interrupt it, most likely the memories. But if it's not interrupted, and I had to say who would win, I would say, that's kind of hard. I want to say Escanor, for at least because the 1 minute could give him the biggest advantage of that whole entire fight. If it's true that the one is pure invincibility. But at the same time, Zeldris, he could obviously have something else with Ominous Nebula. No telling, he doesn't have more options. It's kind of hard to decide a definitive winner.
Alright. What about you, Greaver?
Well, chapter 288 was pretty good. I'll give you that. I got no problems really with it. I thought it was really good. As far as the rest of the this fight is going to go. I think we're all of the consensus mind that the fight's going to be interrupted, whether Meliodas breaks out of the cocoon, whether the memories come back. Something's going to interrupt them. Don't think there's going to be a clear victor necessarily. Probably both get some heavy damage, but I will say one thing is that during Escanor's time as the one, already Zeldris stated that he was going to get serious, and that vacuum started to become almost like a black hole and stuff, and even Merlin was being sucked in. She couldn't teleport fast enough, sort of idea. And during all this, so as far as we've seen, he is using all his power. I'm not saying he's going at 110%, but I'm saying that he right now is trying to kill them. And the fact that Escanor, the moment he turned to the one, the vacuum portion of Ominous Nebula is not affecting him. So that leads me to believe, why would any of the other things affect him in this form? If one portion, it just doesn't make sense to me that one portion of a power wouldn't affect him, but the other portions, yeah, they're still going to affect him in some way or hurt him in any way. Just like, nah, I just don't buy it. I don't think the one, once again, the one is the invincible incarnation of power. Not the immortal, not the impressive, the invincible incarnation of power for 1 minute. That means to me, he is invincible. And one thing that you said, Grimm, about the him actually getting slashed, according to the official translation, and from what I just checked the thing, there are no cuts on him. He remains unscathed. And then I looked at the wiki, the Meliodas versus Escanor fight, and it says that after Meliodas pulled this thing, he remained unscathed. So that leads me to believe that it's actually just not touching him. It's just not affecting him. So I think, once again, like everybody else, the fight's going to get interrupted in some way. I hope to see the one be pushed in some way. Like, I mean, you know, this, we don't want this to be a Deus Ex every time. But I would like to see Zeldris get a little stomped, because this is the third Royal. I think Escanor's got this. At the end of the fight, it's going to be Escanor comes out on top, and they just get interrupted.
Okay.
All right. Kishin.
What the hell kind of pronunciation was that? Anyway, okay. Well, 2 points of invincibility here. Okay, the one, as it's already been stated, pretty damn tough. But then we also have, he is one of the 7 main characters of the series, so he immediately has plot armor. I think he'll probably come out more as the victor, but it'll only be like a sliver. And then, well, little boy Zeldris there, he's still got relevance in the story moving forward, so his death ain't anytime soon. But I'm definitely going with Escanor this round.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Manga. Or, excuse me, Manga Fairy.
Okay. Going with what I thought of the last chapter, I was actually talking to a lot of my subscribers, and they kind of disliked it because there's a lot of exposition within the fights of the 7 deadly sins, especially in this chapter. It's just a lot of explaining. But take away all the exposition, it was a pretty good chapter. I was saying earlier, I don't think that there's going to be a clear winner. They're probably going to get interrupted because we just got this character development for Zeldris. I cannot pronounce his name, I'm sorry.
Zeldris.
Yeah. We just got this character development from him, and we just got a sliver of character development with Escanor and Merlin's relationship. I don't think either of them are going to die and going to be that serious. And I think that the author knows that he can't keep using Escanor as a way to win a fight out of nowhere, you understand? So I feel like he's going to have Escanor get pushed back, like Greaver was saying. Like, he's going to understand that he's not fully invincible, maybe. He might get challenged a little bit with Zeldris, but like I said, I don't think that there's going to be a clear winner. Something's going to happen.
Tell him the truth. All right. Sundown.
Hello. Alright, so I agree with pretty much most of what people have said, in the sense that the chapter was good, and yeah, like Zeldris and Escanor, they should have a good fight. But I don't think Escanor's going to win. Just because, like a lot of you have said, I think it's going to get interrupted. I don't think they're going to actually conclude the fight. But also, I think Zeldris is at a higher power level, just we haven't seen it numerically yet, but I think he might be at a higher power level than Meliodas was when he first assumed assault mode against the one Escanor. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah. No, I think you're wrong because in the data books it stated that Zeldris' power level is at 60,000.
At 63,000.
No, 60,000.
No, wait.
Because his Starostas was at 61,000.
Was that ever
Okay.
confirmed in the story about Zeldris?
No,
His
no,
power
it was in the
level?
data book.
Well, we instantly can't take those numerical values into account because Zeldris is fighting
Well, those
against.
are official releases.
Yeah, but Reduciel's at 201k at the moment.
There's if that were to be the actual case, then we have to point out that there's several inconsistencies because he's had the power of God with him, and he had piety at a moment in time period. There would be no sense as to why he would be 60.
And when was that?
I don't even.
that data released?
Wait, hold on. I just want to just kind of real quick. I don't even think that this matters at the end of the day because when power levels were first introduced into the series in the first place, it was noted by Merlin herself that power levels actually don't really matter at the end of the day because there's people's attributes and abilities that come into play that can change an entire view of a battlefield. Zeldris might be at a lower power
Exactly.
level, but the technique that he's pulling off right now is sucking up everyone. The only reason why Escanor is not getting caught up is because he's already hacked broken. So
Yeah.
Oh,
What I'm
Yeah,
trying to say.
I agree.
Yeah, let's let him finish.
What I'm trying to say is, I feel like Zeldris is stronger now than Meliodas was when he first assumed assault mode. Not so much now, but when Meliodas first assumed assault mode, Zeldris is stronger than he was.
So when he
Right.
woke up, wait, hold on. So when he woke up and then went back to the demons, he was even stronger then.
Wait, who?
Meliodas.
Yeah, Meliodas should be stronger now if he assumed assault mode. But when he first assumed assault mode against the one, I think Zeldris is stronger than that form.
Why?
I mean,
Zeldris
well,
should
I mean, you
technically
know
be
what?
stronger, weaker at the
Power-
moment than what he was when he
power
first
levels
arrived.
power levels aside, yes, I do understand what you're trying to say. He does seem just as lethal. He does give off that air of lethality. I mean, he's bloodying up Escanor just as along with several other very impressive individuals on the opposing side all by himself. So I do agree. He does seem to be at least on that level.
We're
Not
gonna-
that
we're gonna-
I feel like he's got a little bit more in the tank as well. I don't think this is he said he was getting serious, but I'm not too sure whether he's serious. So that's kind of my view on it.
All right. We're gonna break that down a little bit more, but first, Vengeful Eagle has arrived. He's another one of the voices of Stigma. What's going on, Vengeful?
Yo. Not much, man. Just hanging in there, enjoying my Sunday.
As you know, bruh, we're here to discuss the great divide.
All right, the Great Divide, he says.
What do you think about 288? And then tell us about this versus battle and what you expect from it.
Escanor and Zeldris. Honestly, Zeldris has impressed. I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it, but I guess I was sleeping on him. I never thought that he was this impressive. So he's been impressing me with his stuff, but it's hard for me to say that he's going to stand up to Escanor when I just think back to Meliodas getting straight bodied by the one. After that good fight, they were going toe to toe. The one came out and hit him with the slash without even a weapon. Now he's got the Rita.
Oh damn!
It's tough, man.
I forgot about Rita.
It's
Well,
this
the one
dude,
has covered up.
and like I told you on the comment, man, he's got that finger up, man. You know where he's planning to put that. He's coming in. Okay, the one is here, and also I remember him looking a lot more like beastly and kind of almost like Quasimodo. I don't know. Does anybody else? I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
Yeah, I understand. He looked a lot larger when he first assumed the one
Yeah.
than now.
We spoke a little
Yeah,
bit
but now
about
he
this.
has that coat.
And his
Exactly.
posture was almost like a gorilla or something. It was like, but now he's like standing up like he's cooling.
Yeah,
More like a behemoth. Behemoth. Like his forearms were ridiculous.
We wrote a bad translation at
Yeah,
first, and it we were kind of speculating whether this is an artificial sun or something differently that made him come into this form. But the official translation, or not the official translation, the improved translation may have like it steered us in a different direction. I'm still skeptical. I still think that like this form may be induced by something else, so we shouldn't really expect him to like be at the same limit. I'll go in when it's my turn.
Why would you?
I'm not sure.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I have a question. Why would you think that if this literally is like a playback to Eidenberg when Escanor had to go into a space covered in darkness, which was warped by like the most powerful individual in the area, only for the sun to rise and his power to grow?
Yeah, but that wasn't 12 o'clock though.
It could be. Has it ever been
getting-
stated whether or not like the sun is? Because I remember they were outside when he fought Meliodas. Now they're like now they're encapsulated in that like ball of pure darkness. So maybe the sun not like directly shining. Or I don't know.
I don't think that really matters.
No,
It wouldn't have directly shined on them anyway.
right.
Because they're in a
Wouldn't
cave.
have. Yeah.
Well, they were in the-
wouldn't
they were
have.
in
But
the
at the same
cube.
time, it's like
The fact that we saw during the tournament that he was able to draw out the power of the grace without there being a sun present does indicate that there may be some type of psychological aspect going on with the manifestation of the power. I'm not, like I said, this is all an opinion at the moment. We don't have that much information about Escanor in general, so that's to speculate upon. But I'm glad that we've all noticed that he looks smaller. I thought I was just crazy for that.
Yeah.
Zarso, bro, what's going on, man? What'd you think about 288 and what's up with this fight?
91 talk to me, huh? 91 talk to me. 288 was fun. It's always fun to see your favorite characters get slapped around by some random dark horse that hasn't done anything besides get angry and pull off a fucking temper tantrum and destroy a perfectly good Sky Island. Thank you very much, you asshole. But I think Escanor might actually take the loss, only because one, my boy Nia D Hemmings, shout out to Nia D Hemmings, he ain't here today, so I gotta defend Zeldris. I think Zeldris might actually take it, only because he's such a dark horse, and the matter of the fact is, he's pretty well placed, like on his side. He's the son of the Demon King. Like, sure, he might be second in line to the throne, but like, you got to realize it's like either heir works. Like, he's just as powerful as Meliodas, if not stronger, because his full react. I'm sorry. I just got cut out.
Theo Brando coming in.
Exactly. Joe came crazy. I was gonna say, he's using several different powers and attributes that he got from his dad. He's using all the hacks he was born with just to whoop your ass. And it comes easy to him. It's no big deal. It's like, yeah, bro. It's like, it's like good game, but like, it's like Escanor is literally 210 years too early to face off against Zeldris. That's how crazy it is. This young whippersnapper needs to go sit down with his big muscles. Okay, how about you sit down, train for a little bit, get that chest working out. You know what I'm saying? Gotta do.
Where'd you get the 210 from?
I don't know.
Because I think Zeldris is like no, yeah. Because I think Zeldris is like
a little
250.
too young.
No, because I think Zeldris is like 250, and
You cut out again, bro.
Where'd you go, boy?
All right. Well, while you fix that,
I keep cutting out. I don't know.
All right. So, in my opinion, like you pretty much already know, I think Zeldris should be able to take this one. Narratively, I think Escanor's been put in a position where he should eventually get his indomitability challenge. I don't know if this is the right time to do it, but this would be another chance to see a consecutive time where we see a failure in Escanor, which is not what we see often. Now, I also agree that Zeldris' backstory or story with Gelda is going to be essential in the upcoming chapters in that resolution. I also do understand that Merlin has a relationship with Escanor, and that's pending in terms of its development. Escanor himself also has mysteries with like Flash and like the Graces and shit like that. So I'm positive he won't have detrimental damage. We also have a panel of during the reveal of Mayo's identity. Whenever all the members return, we see all of them taking a really, I guess, emotional hit from the members returning to them. Zeldris has a really tragic expression on his face. So does Rudisell and stuff. He's actually on the ground. So that's why we're mostly saying that it's most likely not going to end in either of them being hurt because of what we saw. And it's probably going to get interrupted, like everybody pointed out. I agree with that too. But in terms of just straight fighting, what's going to happen in between? The ability to cause curses, sensing ability. He can create like all kinds of weapons with the power of darkness. He has enhanced durability, like we saw from like Daddy 80 when Death Pierce's blade just broke on some shit. What else does he have? The ability to like seal your powers and shit, like he did with Dolor back in the time skip. What else does he have? Hellblaze. DC today, he dropped a fucking a demon magic lightning bolt on top of Rudisell, and he had to use Flash to escape. Like he's. Not to mention this ominous nebula, which right now, as Fang pointed out, it may not be having an effect on Zeldris, or excuse me, on Escanor, but it's not like keeping it on isn't going to be beneficial, you know? Just because he's dealing with it right now doesn't mean that, like, if Zeldris throws a Hellblaze at him or something like that, I mean, he won't have to block and then he'll get off balance, and you can just speed blitz him, take his ass out, you know? I think Escanor is at a huge disadvantage right now. At a huge disadvantage. Not only because Zeldris has more abilities that he can spam, a lot more than what it seems Escanor can do, but he also has Chandler and Cusack behind him.
Yeah, also true. And who's to say that Escanor can even hit him yet with the darkness flying around?
Exactly. And
well,
huh?
Cusack and Chandler are doing the same thing that Merlin, Reduciel, and the rest of them are doing. They're just trying to stay tight, so that they don't get pulled in, because he's...
I'm just saying, Cusack and Chandler ain't doing shit!
Yeah,
so
they're
it's
probably
basically
more
a
afraid
1v1.
of dying.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically a 1v1, because Cusack and Chandler can't move right now. They got their arms planted in the wall. They ain't going nowhere.
That, and they don't want to upset the young master. It's like, he'll kill us. There is no doubt about that.
Wait, who said something summer?
Wakasama.
Hey, that's the guy.
But also remember that Chandler did mention, where have I felt this magical power before? He didn't recognize it when he was using any sun abilities, but once he became the one, Chandler, like, something triggered in Chandler's memory. And as we know, Chandler's like freaking old. So he clearly remembers something about when either Mail had it, or for all we know, somebody even before Mail had it. We don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was confused about that during my actual review of the chapter, and I wasn't sure has Chandler ever encountered Escanor while he's been using any of his like grace-like abilities? He hasn't, has he?
No, because remember he cast that spell of night over the day, and that actually that crazy Black Knight spell did prevent Escanor from going into any form, because he would have, he wouldn't have let everybody fight and him not be able to do shit. If that were the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he couldn't do anything. Now, why doesn't Chandler pull that shit now? Maybe because he doesn't realize that that's what he did. Like, it was just good timing. He just did that because he's him. But he didn't realize that that was actually preventing one of their trump cards from fighting him the first go.
Well, it should
and
already
actually,
be
if you remember, Chandler also said that demons are more powerful during the nighttime. Right. Maybe he just does that as a prerequisite. So he's stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was not using that, in my opinion. He was not using that. He didn't know about Escanor. He did not purposely do that, so he did not have to fight Escanor. And right now, he doesn't realize that nobody else. Remember, these demons do not realize that he has the Sunshine Grace. They do not know that that's a grace.
Yeah,
no idea.
But why? So. Why isn't Dark Zone doing the same thing then? Because it seems to be even more powerful than that environmental change that he did.
Well, yeah, but they're already inside darkness, so maybe one, he can't, or second, he figures there will be no point. Because remember, they're in a giant fucking cocoon right now. They're not outside.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the cocoon should be doing the same exact thing, if not better, than what he did outside.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's blocking that out.
Nah, I disagree with that.
Could you guys elaborate?
Oh, I'm just saying that I don't think that the cocoon. I think the spell of night actually blocked out the sun specifically. It like literally, in my opinion. Now I don't know this. Once again, we don't get a whole lot of like world building explanation on this. But I thought that when Chandler cast that black night spell, he actually turned it to nighttime within a dimension. So there was no. He wasn't blocking the sun.
He just time and space.
Right.
For a specific area, like he warped the time in that area. Oh, it's it's day. I'll just turn it into night for one area.
Right. That's what I believe. I don't believe he blocked out like with a blanket of black darkness, shall we say. He didn't block out the sun. He actually changed the time of day within a space sort of idea. He changed it to nighttime. The moon was up, not the sun sort of idea. And right now, he's not doing that. It's not that like cave walls, darkness, none of that shit can block out the power of the sun. The sun's in the sky. It's 10 a.m. Escanor's in beefy form. That's just the way it goes. Like nothing blocks that. He doesn't need to be in direct contact with it necessarily. But Chandler doesn't know that that's what was preventing it last time. He doesn't realize that because none of them know that he's got sunshine. Chandler probably knows how sunshine works, like a lot of the higher demons probably do, but they think that that's, once again, they don't have memories. They think Mail is gone. They have no idea this is a grace, that kind of idea.
Well, like we discussed previously, we actually have evidence to say that the high commanders of either army, of the angels and the demons, they probably didn't fight each other that often. It wasn't a regular occurrence in the fight. So, just to get this kind of evidence that Chandler most likely encountered a Mayo or a Grey Soldier before, that does add a little bit more world building. It makes me wonder, though, if that's the case, will consecutive actions with the one make Chandler take action then? If that's what you guys are assuming?
Yeah. I think he will. I think Chandler's going to realize something and go, oh shit, the young master, like even though Meliodas is his boy, he's going to go, like, napping demon, you need to stop the young master right now. Like, we need to pull back from here right now. Like, he's going to realize, oh shit, this is the one thing that remember, Meliodas being lost, the only thing that could counter that in Wheelchair Gother's mind was getting rid of Mail at the same time. Otherwise, they were going to lose. Like, there was just no question.
No. So, that's not what occurred. Please say it correctly. Say it correctly.
No.
Who was considered, bro? Who was considered?
Meliodas and Mail were the two top dogs, and they couldn't be on the same side because whatever side had both of them was going to lose. That's just the way it was.
You're talking about Elizabeth, bro.
And there's one more. Say it.
No, Elizabeth is OD powerful.
Say it.
Yeah, that's true.
Lord Rudisill.
But she ain't stepping in no top dog. She'll get mopped by fucking Zeldris.
I don't know about that, bro. The Demon King wasn't looking like that.
She just doesn't got the combat ability. Like, her abilities, her powers are OD powerful, but like she just doesn't. She's not good in combat.
She fought the Supreme Deity.
She probably hesitate, but also
she doesn't have that fighting spirit.
She fought the Supreme Deity.
She got cursed.
Is she not like? Well, then would you say she's not like kind of like a Gohan? Like, doesn't want to fight, but keep pushing, and all of a sudden, boom, we get Super Saiyan 2 out of this bitch. Like,
that'd be fun.
Elizabeth,
I'm just saying, like, she doesn't want to fight, but we've seen her abilities. We've seen when she has to fight to save her friend, sort of Nakama sort of idea. She goes toe to toe. She's not afraid.
We have to point out the incredible, panel to panel instant healing. So one panel they're fucking about to die, the next panel instantly healed. Flight. She took down 2 Indra forms by herself. No extra charge from anybody.
For the lols.
2 Indra forms. She took them down. Fought off the Supreme Deity until she got cursed with Meliodas and the Demon King there. Like, in terms of feats, who's really fucking with Elizabeth, bro?
Speaking of Elizabeth, when's her last day? Is it like happening in that day that's going on right now, or is it the day after?
We don't know.
One more day.
One more day, okay.
That's not concrete, because even the way Merlin said it, it was inspecific enough for us to assume it could even be today. like towards the end of today. But now that we got this Escanor implication, we could assume that, let's say this is a true sun that's up, it's 12 o'clock today. So I guess 12 hours from now she would technically be eligible to die.
Maybe that's the whole point we're seeing it right now, so that we have a time indication.
Yeah, maybe, because it's either, as Grimm said, it's either this is her last day, and whether that changes at midnight she dies, or whatever time frame, or when the sun goes down, we don't know. But it's either that, or she's got one more day past that. But it's, as he said, it's kind of like up in the air, really. We don't get that concrete 2 days left, like in a block. Like,
yeah, this ain't One Piece where we're getting like every 15 minutes told to us for the wedding.
7:21, 7:22, 7:23.
Oh, well, It gets.
I kind of would like that.
It gets interesting
would you like
though.
that?
Well, say again.
I was just asking Grimm, would you actually prefer that? Would anybody here prefer that if we actually had some type of countdown, chapter by chapter, maybe not every chapter, but just like a little dialogue box saying like 28 hours until Elizabeth time's up, or 2 days left, or something like that? Would you like that indicator? Because I think I would.
I would, yeah. That's actually.
Yeah.
I think it would add to like the suspense of it all, because we'd be like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like it's happening, because I have no idea what's happening right now when it comes to her, so that would be a help.
I could see.
Agreed.
I could see the negatives of like having it like freelance like he has it now, but I think just as much as suspense as it could give us by actually giving us an exact rubric, I think the opposite is actually possible too, where by not knowing what's gonna happen when, or our time limit for it, that it's you're more left more in a mystery, but it also leaves more room for ass bullshit. So I'd rather be safe and go with the countdown.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, actually.
Cause it's like, I don't know if we should get back on it because it doesn't really matter. But like the whole power level stuff, I've seen like 2 or 3 guys put up like videos as to like how the power scaling in Taizai may be like having issues at the moment, and I don't necessarily agree with it. But some of the signs are starting to like glare. Like why like technically you shouldn't be able to beat Zeldris if he's doing this to all 3 of these people at the same time without piety. And now Escanor got into this form. Why should Escanor in this form do this to him? We just said it was 200k, and Meliodas in assault mode was 142k, and he forced him into this form. So it's like, why should I believe that Zeldris should have trouble with the one?
Because he's just walking up to him casually.
Yeah, I think it's because the one you could basically put, in my opinion, for that 1 minute, you get an infinity sign in front of that fucking power level, man. That's
I think I may have figured out how he's able to walk.
Okay.
He's so big?
No, he's got the gravity of the sun.
Oh my god. Please stop.
Oh.
Please stop.
No, but
Well,
wouldn't that
think
then,
about it.
wouldn't that then attract Zeldris to him, though?
Right.
Possibly, but it might only be affecting him.
Possible. As I said, we all we know from the last chapter is that he's walking casually towards him, and everyone's like, "Wait, that's actually not affecting him." So it leads me to believe that none of Omnibus Nebula is going to affect him in this form.
The gravity idea. I mean, like, what would be the center of attraction?
Well, I don't know. It's just a thought that came to mind.
Right.
Because I was like, how is he just walking around like that?
The same way that the 1,000 Divine Slashes didn't affect.
I mean, as far as like Mael's portrayal, he was sunning everybody.
Was he though? Was he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that because we didn't get him sunning like high tier, but like he was running around doing his thing, and I don't know, his combat ability outside of the grace. Like I don't even know what was did Mael have a 1? What was his 1 like?
He
Like,
should have had one.
That's crazy.
Rudeciel says that it would rise and rise until it peaked at noon. He did when he was describing Mael, so we can assume that his power did peak. But
I wonder if he had more control over his because he was actually a goddess.
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily had like a physical change because it was made for him.
Right. Oh, that's a good point.
And as Grimm has pointed out many times, as far as we've seen, male has no timid form at nighttime. He's actually got no change.
Right.
Like he's always been. Every time we saw a young male when he was a child, and then we see an adult male, and adult male has looked the same every single time. So does that lead me to believe that every single time we've seen male in a flashback, and male even right now, it's always been 9 o'clock in the morning? Like that seems a bit of a stretch. Like we've never seen him at another time of day.
Right.
I don't personally think that Escanor doesn't have control of Sunshine. That's why I think that like everything that he's capable of doing, he's already done it. You know, besides seeing one or two like attacks on the side. So I just find it hard to believe that like this power of Sunshine is like as strong as what we're making it out to be. Because if it really was how we're positioning it, they would have won the war. And that wasn't the case. They told us it was at a stalemate. They told us that. And if we're honest, all they had was the 10 Commandments. One or two guys switched in or out because they died or they're not here anymore. And then Meliodas leading the way with love. That was really the main difference.
That's why it was a stalemate, though, because Meliodas and him kind of balanced each other out, supposedly.
Exactly. Gother states it.
I don't think you guys are like, because it's. I understand that we could assume that they were at similar power levels, no doubt, but you have to look at everybody else. If Rudicel's at 200, what is Zeldris going to be at? Or excuse me, what is Zeldris? Well, who was number 2 at that time period? And who you're telling me like it just doesn't make sense. We either don't have enough information, or the Sunshine is not as strong as what you're saying it out to be, because the entire war was not just based on Mayo. It wasn't. When we were told about the people who could be who Gowther was going to target to change the war, it was Elizabeth, Rudicel, and Meliodas, along with Mayo. And he chose Mayo in particular because he had a grudge against him. So I'm just wondering, what about the other side? What did the demons have to fight off this greatness of Sunshine, if it's really what you guys are saying it out to be? If Sunshine was really everything, who fought him?
I do get what you're saying, Grimm. I do, but I'm just like, from what we've seen, do you think? Remember, it would be a suicide mission to go in there outside of the one. So if he has 1 minute, I don't believe that the one is so, OP that he could just walk up and use the one to get rid of Chandler, Cusack, the 10 Commandments, everybody, no problem, within 1 minute. I don't think the one is that OP. It will win in a 1v1 fight. It'll win. He's Kaido. He will win. But how many times, how many 1v1s can he do in 1 minute and be pushed to the brink, as I said? So, like they're not gonna throw Mail in there to the wolves for 1 minute and hope to God he slaughters them all in time.
No, I agree. The 10, I feel like it's the numbers that balance it out.
Yeah. There's too many high-level demons for even Escanor in the one or Mail in the one, for the one to take down all by himself. It's too much of a suicide mission.
Delore, Gloxenia, Rudicil, Sario, Tarmio, Mayo. I think that's all the significant people that would have been on Stigma's side. And then the arcs that we mentioned, they're worth 2 to 3. So let's give them the minimum value of 2. That doesn't add up to the numbers, man. I think the Stigma side, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Fairy said it right. We're probably not gonna get a clear, like, superior person in this fight, but y'all niggas are sucking on this Mayo dick too much, bro. Excuse me, this Escanor dick too much, bro. Like, a little too much, bro.
Yeah, I think the other thing to remember is that the commandments themselves needed to be feared just because of the nature of their curses. So even though, like, for instance, one goddess, one archangel could probably take out 2 commandments, they're still susceptible to, or goddesses themselves are still susceptible to the commandments. So that would still be an issue.
No, I don't believe they are. I think that's been confirmed.
The archangels are. I think they're okay against commandments. That they don't get affected because of the supreme deity.
Oh, right, yeah. I
But
thought
everyone
that's what you
else,
said.
like Dolor and the Fairy King,
Yep.
Gloxinia, they still would have been susceptible to any of the commandments.
Yeah.
So there would have been that fear as well, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because as far as we know, the only ones on that side at that time who weren't affected would be Elizabeth and the 4 archangels.
Yeah.
Everybody else would be affected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So even though the numbers don't quite match up, like 4 archangels against 10 commandments, they'd still be afraid of losing other key members like Gloxinia and Dolor.
Exactly. I remember back then it was also there weren't these substitutes like Fraudrin and stuff. Like the 10 Commandments were at the height of their power.
Mm-hmm.
So before, let's entertain this scenario. As we all mentioned, there are possible ways that this fight is going to get interrupted. Let's start with Meliodas. Coming from Purgatory, he's coming a little bit after Bond, maybe a few seconds. We don't know the time difference it'll be. How is that going to come into play? What's going on there? What are you guys thinking about Meliodas returning, and how it's going to affect everything? How is people going to react to what? How is he going to react to the memories coming back? What are your thoughts on these things? Let's start from the top with Blake.
Are we talking about if he comes out in the middle of the fight or just comes out in general?
No doubt. Both, bro.
Okay. I think if he gets out, I don't know if he would immediately just like be normal. I think he would have to maybe like. I feel like he would. I don't know. I don't know how like the original Meliodas feels very well about what he's going, because even he was talking about just staying here so she in Purgatory so Elizabeth wouldn't die. I kind of almost thought like he agreed with his non-emotional self just to do it, but at the same time I don't know what his plan is because I won't be sure he has a plan.
All right.
Because I'm not really thinking about others. I'm thinking about the whole situation with Elizabeth because from what he said, and like if he gets out in general, then I assume that he would at least try to calm everybody down and stop fighting to figure stuff out, but maybe even go back to Stigma's side, maybe. But
I don't think so, bro. He's a dirty demon. He didn't try that way back then, so. What about you, Greaver?
In regards to Meliodas being the one to come out and interrupt the fight, I would say that is probably. It seems like we're all betting it's either that or the memory thing. So one of the two is going to happen. He's still got to burst out of that cocoon, but as we've talked about, Purgatory has a weird time frame. So those few seconds difference could be days, months. We have no idea. You know, like that's a stupid amount of time. So it depends on how that all works out for me. I think we'll have a better indication when we see Bond wake up, and then we'll know, okay, Meliodas is coming very, very soon. But as far as Meliodas showing up, and I mean, I think his character arc has now finally come back full circle in the sense that he's dealt with his father, he's dealt with his emotions, he's back. The whole point of the whole Purgatory arc part of this was when he came back, he wouldn't be Mr. Demon, I'm going to become the Demon King and just end the curse once and for all. He's going to come back with his emotions intact. He's got his original magical power, apparently, that he's not afraid to use anymore. So I think he's just going to come in and he's going to be, all right, you guys sit down, let's just sit down and have a little chat, you know. And maybe he'll reveal the whole reason that the Supreme Deity and the Demon King were working together and why this holy war is necessary, because there's clearly something. Why is the holy war necessary? Why this? Why this? Why this? Why does the Demon King want to retire himself? Why is it necessary for Meliodas to become the Demon King? There's so many questions to be answered, and I think maybe this will be the opportunity that we'll get the actual final why this all happened in the first place. Explanation dump from Meliodas when he breaks out of the cocoon, and that'll stop the fighting for a while.
All right.
I like that.
Kishin?
I could definitely see it be somewhat of a comical moment when emo Eliodas, or whatever we want to call him, just magically appears, and he just kind of gets, because he says when him and Bon were being through that tunnel out of purgatory, he was like, I'm being pulled. So he's just going to slap up against that cocoon. It's going to distract everyone and be like, what's he doing here? That'll interrupt the fight. And then around the same time, that's when Meliodas has finally absorbed the commandments. And then the cocoon disappears, and then we might get the chat between the two sides. And that could be a nice little setup.
Alright. We'll see if that comes out. Kishin the Prophet. What's going on, Manga Fairy?
Crazy prophet.
I don't think Meliodas will interrupt the fight at all. I think that they're going to have to figure it out on their own. I still think that it's going to be a stalemate, in my opinion. So I feel like that's what's going to interrupt the fight. I think Meliodas is going to come after the fact. And personally, I feel like we're going to see a character change in Zeldris, because he has ulterior motives rather than the Holy War, so I feel like at some point he might not turn all good, but he's going to change in some way. So I don't think that Meliodas is going to influence that. I think it's going to be his own character development, and they might knock each other out, honestly, and that's where the memories return and whatnot, just as simple as that. I don't think Meliodas is going to come back just now, so...
Damn, bro, no love for the boy. How many chapters has been since we've seen Meliodas? Like this one? Like 15?
A few. I'm not sure how many.
Oh, a few, huh? Fucking Sundown.
Just a few.
Damn, man. Yeah, that could be the case, yeah. What's going on, Sundown?
Right. Alright, so I'm not sure how the whole thing's going to go down, in the sense of, I kind of agree with Manga Fairy, in the sense that I'm not sure whether, like, I think the thing that's going to disturb the fight and interrupt the fight is going to be the regaining of the memories concerning Maya. So that's going to be the major interrupter. But I'm not sure how Meliodas is going to go about regaining his emotional side. I mean, like, does he just fly straight back into the real world and zip straight back into his body and that's it? Or is there going to have to be some sort of fusion dance?
I was wondering about that too.
Yeah, so like, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go about. I mean, like, it seems too easy and kind of far-fetched to assume that he's just going to appear back in his body.
I think that's what they said. I think they...
But yet... Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting, that he might just pop up back in his body.
Most
likely. Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, most likely.
Only because it's like actually his emotions.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't see like his emotions coming back as like a separate entity.
Right.
I mean, like, unless this is like
a physical form, no.
Yeah. I mean, like, it harkens back to like the whole Piccolo kind of thing with Kami. It's kind of similar, I assume. But I wouldn't really. I'd prefer it if he just kind of zipped back into his body, but then that kind of removes the idea of who becomes the next in line in terms of the main villain. Because if Meliodas comes back with his emotions and he's got 5 commandments and he's totally chilling, he sits everyone down, who are they fighting against?
Demon King and the Supreme Deity.
But they're not in the current. They're not in the real world right now. They'd have to go to Purgatory or wherever the Supreme Deity is, unless the Supreme Deity pops up in the real world. And then there was that issue of Meliodas mentioned the fact that he wouldn't be able to stay in the real world now that he's used his original power. So is he going to come back to the real world only to like instantly translocate or something back to the Purgatory or something?
Not to mention that only, but we were also told the same thing when we saw that whenever he was absorbing the commandments, he also said that. But that's when he said it about the 10 commandments, not just 4. So I'm wondering which one is it? Like, is it that his secret power was 5 commandments worth of shit? Or like how does that like... This is getting fucking complicated, bro.
What, are you wondering as to what his original power was?
No. I have my theories on that. It's just, if he said he was gonna we were told that if he gathers all 10 commandments, he'll be strong enough to remove the curse. But when he does that, he'll be too strong to exist in the world of the living. Now we're being proposed the same exact thing by him revealing his own power. So what was the point of gathering all of that?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think this might be something to do with probably a downside or a negative of using his specific original power. That's just the way it sounded. I mean, like the fact that he was so against using it and like lacked the confidence to use it.
I think the whole reason is I thought it was established, I guess. Well, maybe not established, but doesn't it make sense that he can't be with Elizabeth anymore? If he can't be in the real world, and that's where Elizabeth is, if he takes the mantle of the Demon King, he can't be with her. Or if he uses his original magical power and he can't exist in the real world, then at that point, what's the point in living according to him? Remember, he's seen her die over 100 times because he still can't let go of his love for this woman. So why would he ever want to use a power that would condemn him to never be able to exist in the same world with her anymore? I thought that was pretty straightforward in my mind.
Yeah, but in the recent chapter, the Demon King was frightened by him deciding to use it because of his positioning politically, I guess. So that's why I'm wondering if he wanted him to really be who he said he's going to be and do what he's already going to do, then it shouldn't matter that he's revealing his full power. His ultimate plan, if what we're assuming it is, should be to just have Meliodas take the throne. But that's why I believe it's not that.
Without his emotions, though. He wanted Meliodas to stay the way he is in the real world, absorb the 10 Commandments, and take his title. He didn't want his emotions back. That's why every time he went back, like with the Zaratros trip and stuff, he came back. And I keep rereading it to make sure that it's not a translation thing. And in the official one, it keeps saying that every time he goes back, he loses a little bit of the emotions. There's a cost. He slowly, every time he dies and gets revived, Demon King takes some of his emotions. Because the problem is with this time is that he didn't want to give up any of his emotions. Bond and him were trying to get the full Meliodas back to his body in the real world. That's why the Demon King didn't let him leave. Because remember last time, he had to fight the Demon King in Purgatory, and he just all of a sudden showed up, and it was like, hey, Zaratros, what's going on?
He did leave.
He showed up but he showed up with less emotion than he used to have. Because every time he comes back, this time he's trying to come back full emotion. And Demon King didn't want that because he knows he won't take his title, and that'll ruin whatever plan he's got.
Right.
I think
I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I think we got that mixed up because he came back already. Back when he killed Fraudrin, that was the last time he died. This is just the total sum of his emotions, and then Bond came here and found the total sum of his emotions that had been removed, and now they're trying to return them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that like every time he was dying before that, the time when he came back to kill Fraudrin, that time he came back from death, but he was lacking more of his emotion than the previous time. And each time he was dying, I don't know how many times he's died, but each time he was losing part of himself. And as you said, his full emotions are there, and that's what Bond was talking to, and that's what Bond in Purgatory, that's what they're trying to get back to his body, rather than yeah. That's why this time the Demon King didn't want to let him leave. Because remember, he clearly didn't fight him before. How did Meliodas beat him before if he didn't use his original magic? Bond wasn't there. Wild wasn't there to help him. How did he come back to save Elizabeth from Derriere in time? It's because he sacrificed part of his emotions to come back, and that was the whole plan. The Demon King wants him to slowly become what he was currently in the real world when he took Elizabeth, went with Chandler and stuff. That's who he wants. He wants his original son before he met Elizabeth. He doesn't want the emotional
That would
one.
be implying, though, that if he's willingly doing this and it's not the curse that's just taking it from him, that he's fighting the demon. The last time when he died and he came back from Frogton, that he fought the Demon King, and that was removed from him. And I don't think I don't think it was that. I think that like the curse, just whenever you die, he goes to Purgatory for a certain amount of time, and in that time, the curse removes his feelings. There's nothing he can do about it. And once a certain amount is done, he returns. If he wants to fight the Demon King in that time period, he can. Because the Demon King only exists in that realm. And I guess that's what he did. He was upset about what was going on. he probably was so angry that he tried to, I'll just use the power that I have now to beat you and remove the curse, when he knows that he can't. Because like he mentioned before, he's tried everything to solve anything. He's tried to kill himself to get away from the curse. I'm assuming he's fought the Demon King before as well. If he could know, it would just take too long to train to get to that level. But
yeah, like I get that, and that's a possibility. As I said, I just always thought that it was a little different than that, but
yeah, it'll be.
We don't really know yet either way. I mean, that's the fun of this, isn't it? Speculation.
Yeah, it could be either one. Yeah, it could be that the curse itself actually takes away his emotions, or it could be that the Demon King is kind of like policing his emotions. But yeah, it could be
the
either
same,
one.
isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like either way, he's losing his emotions.
Right.
So
not this time.
So then is it decided then this fight really isn't going to turn out to be anything then? Are we like? Is it going to be good at least though?
Oh, it should be.
Yes.
This is only the second time we've ever seen the one.
Exchange.
All right. Well, you guys all spoke at the same time. Someone want to elaborate?
I think, well, it's obviously going to be a quick exchange because there's only a minute, but there can be a lot of exchange in that 1 minute for how fast these people are, you know.
A lot happens in a short
it's
time
obviously
in
going to
manga.
be contested. It's hard to say. I mean, Meliodas couldn't have been full power. Zeldris, you would think, is maybe more powerful than the Meliodas at the point in time when he was fighting the one. Just because he is at, his full power with commandments and stuff. So, I mean, it's going to be a contested fight. But, I don't know.
Do you guys think it'll last
to see the one get beaten is a hard thing to imagine. But we could see it next chapter.
It might happen. I wonder, do you guys think that this fight will actually last? Because as I think Kishin pointed out, that a minute in manga can be as long as they freaking want. So do you think this fight is going to last more than the next chapter? Like, do you think we'll get a couple chapters worth of a fight?
I mean,
I hope so.
Fairy already
I hope so.
Fairy pointed out that, like,
I
I guess the fans are complaining that there's too much, like, description or, like, explaining about the powers and what's going on. So we can probably expect more of that if it's been consistent.
I like that. Almost Hunter x Hunter-esque with, like, the dialogue there. Not quite to that level, but I like the explanation of stuff.
I'm still trying to catch up with that one.
Yeah, I don't. Nah. Like, I don't want to go off topic, but in One Punch Man, there's almost, like, nowhere near as much explanation. And those fights are, like,
Oh, we're on One Punch now. I thought you were talking about the explanation.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like, do you think that's a positive trait for the fights, or like, because I think that's what's gonna take away from this fight. If we're gonna sit there explaining, Zeldris is doing this now, it's doing this now, instead of just saying,
I feel like that's maybe why we got the in-depth explanation, so that we don't have to do that next chapter.
Yeah, their main argument was just that they wish that the fights were more fights, and I can understand that to a point, because if we didn't get that explanation, sometimes we wouldn't know what's happening, because the Seven Deadly Sins is, like, really detailed, and the powers themselves are really complicated and complex. But sometimes you really do just want to see, like, a really good fight, but it's blocked by so much exposition that it's just like, can we get more action? But I really do hope that the next coming chapters are more like fight, and that's why there's so much exposition now. So it could balance out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, like, I think what people are complaining about is that it's similar to Bleach at the moment, in the sense of, like, this is my power, I'm about to explain it to you, and then there's like, actually there's an additional bit to my power that I didn't explain when I first talked about it.
Exactly.
And then it's like, oh shit, Bankai,
And then at any point in time, it just cuts away, and then it cuts back, and then the fight's over, and it's like, fuck you, Kubo.
Yeah. What we need in this is more Kenpachi like fights. It's just swordsmanship. Fuck it. No explanation. Yeah. No nothing else. It's just.
Well, Zeldris can apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, look at it. The Meliodas Escanor fight was pretty. Like, there was dialogue, but it was still a fight. So we could see something similar, like, I would like to, anyways. Like, we have the explanation of his power. We already know what the one does. Let's see it all go down.
No, bro.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like Manga Fairy was saying. I mean, like this. I assume this chapter was used as the exposition piece, and then the next couple chapters should be like a straight fight. But we do have Merlin there, and she kind of likes to go off and be like, talk about shit. And it's like, we don't.
Yeah,
we
she
don't,
likes to talk a lot.
Yeah, so we don't really need her friggin' analyzing the whole business case, but she might do.
Yeah, this ain't Dr. Stone. Like, we don't need a million explanations.
I liked in the beginning though. Like she started off I think she attacked first actually. So I like that about it. She wasn't like playing or anything. Has anybody in this fight like, upset you or like, what's the term? Let you down? Besides, obviously Gilthunder and Hendrickson.
You can't really be disappointed if you don't expect anything.
Oh damn!
I'm still annoyed by the Flash Sunshine combo.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't happen.
Yes. That was bullshit.
It wasn't.
Nothing really came of that.
It wasn't that much bullshit. It was cool. It's just it could have been better.
Yeah, I mean, like, just blinding them, do they really think that was going to work very well?
Would you want him to open the realm of God?
Last time we saw two graces combined, they literally threw Estarossa into a basically tsunami hurricane friggin' thing in the middle of the ocean.
And then dropped
I am very
bolts
disappointed that Sunshine and apparently Grimm, your Grace of Flash there, big boy.
Big boy.
That's all they could do? They pulled a solar flare? Like, what?
Who's dead? Who's dead right now? Termio? Oh. So, sounds like that combo's not going to happen again, huh? Oh, all right.
Oh.
But you'd assume that Escanor isn't able to utilize the Realm of God thing just by extension of him being human.
That's why I used to question whether he actually has the power, because I think he can't open that. I think it's fair to speculate though that it's that we haven't seen it. We just saw crazy prominence. He could be a lot more capable with in different attacks than what we've seen besides just the brute force. So I say it's fair to assume he can't because he's a human, but let's see, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd say that half the time it's kind of like maybe he doesn't know he can do it, and that's why I'm disappointed by this whole solar flare Ruby thing instead of him Rudeciel basically going up to him and be like, hey, we're going to do this thing. Since you didn't know it was a grace and did not know that this was part of your power, let's try it. You're a human who can hold a grace. You shouldn't be able to do that either, so what's to stop us from opening God's realm at the same time? I mean, you shouldn't be living...
Seems like a last ability that you learn from the grace. Like you've learned how to use it.
Attack?
Well, like to be able to utilize it completely without harming your allies.
That's true. It was like they were stepping up their game when they used Domain of God, so I could see that. But this is stepping up his game. It's the one.
Merlin could use Perfect Cube though.
Yeah, but they've got Chandler there.
True.
Absolutely canceled.
Damn him.
He's like the one who can break anything. He's pretty OP too. You asked about disappointment. That's what I'm disappointed. I wanted to see more Cusack and Chandler and like everybody in the fight. I mean, I'm stoked to see Escanor versus Zeldris, but I really wish we had gotten more of a fight between like Cusack and Merlin. That would have been cool. Or Chandler like pulling some stunts. Now they've been sitting. They've basically been literally sitting on a brick wall this whole time, like a rock wall.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like, I was expecting them to be doing some crazy shit. And the fact that they both got kind of, like, Merlin clicked their fingers and they both got pushed back, I was like, I'm expecting a little bit more from you. You're meant to be, like, two of the most high-class demons out there, like, alongside the commandments. I think you're meant to be above the commandments because you were essentially, like, caretakers of the royals. But, yeah, so I expected a lot more from both of them. But I'm a little bit concerned with Cusack, because I'm still not sure whether he's actually going to be loyal to Meliodas when he returns. Because when Zeldris mentioned in, I think it was 2 chapters ago, he makes mention of the fact that he doesn't really care about the Holy War. I think he mentions like it's like a game or something like that. It's child's play or something like that. But when he says that, you can see Cusack kind of grimacing in the panel after that. So I'm not sure whether he agreed fully with his own kind of master. But also there was that time where Chandler went after the Sins to retrieve Merasula's commandment, I think it was, and Cusack said he had something to do instead, and he went and did something, and we don't know what that was.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's true. But I always took the grimace you're talking about when he was talking about like the Holy War. I don't give a shit about that. Cusack, I think, is probably worried about that for two reasons. Number one, he probably knows about the Gelda thing, and he thinks that that's the same thing as what happened with Meliodas. He doesn't want to see that happen to his master. So he's thinking, oh shit, we can't let that happen. So he probably knows about that affair and doesn't, he's like, oh no, Zeldris, you're supposed to be what Meliodas wasn't. You're supposed to care about the Holy War. You're supposed to do exactly what your father says, sort of idea. And that kind of stuff. Or he knows something even darker about it, and he's like, no, if you do this, like, as I said before, I think in the last board hat or something like that, I said, he's probably looking to stab him in the back. Like, he's probably been given orders by the Demon King that if my other son, I let one son go, and look at the mistake that was. He goes, this happens again, said, kill him. Stab him in the back.
No repeat performances.
Right, exactly. And I think because Cusack does care for his master, I think he doesn't want to hear those words out loud. He's like, shit, who's listening?
Yeah, see, that's why. So, like, just based off what you said there, that's why I'm a little bit concerned about Cusack. Just because we know he's done something previously that we have no idea what he did, and because he might have to do something like that, stab someone in the back.
Possibly could have went to kill Gelda.
Maybe. Remember, it was Meliodas without he had his full power, but, hard to say. Really hard to say. Because remember, he resealed him, but I also brought up the fact that, because Grimm kept saying about, for a long time, about Meliodas originally being a really evil demon, what if he's actually lying to Zeldris? What if he did kill Gelda? We have no indication that she's actually alive. He could have just told her that. Second betrayal.
Well, didn't we see Zeldris interacting with Gelda?
That was the other vampires were there too, and we know that they're dead, like the Vampire King and stuff.
Yeah, that was
after he sealed them the first time.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too, but I had to really look closely at those panels, and you can clearly see the silhouette of the Vampire King there, and we know he's burnt to a crisp.
Oh yeah, the big chunky ass one, yeah.
Wasn't it in the flashback of Edinburgh? Wasn't it like left off screen when Meliodas killed those vampires, including Gelda?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we definitely can't say that they're dead or alive.
Right.
For a fact.
Well, we know the Vampire King definitely got toasty.
Yeah, we know some of them are dead, but we know that the ones that Gelda and the other one that Meliodas was fighting, that was left ambiguous, and it's still technically ambiguous. We have seen no indication that she's alive, just the word of Meliodas in demon form telling that to his brother so he can get his way.
Well, here's the thing. This man told us his original feelings told us that he was regretful as to his decisions. As to his decisions in terms of Zeldris. Now, he didn't say he regretted like having that position amongst the demon realm. That's how we know and can confirm that he was indeed a dirty bastard, a disgusting, murderous pig who led the dirty demons to try to take over Britannia. He was indeed that motherfucker. But he also fucking loved his little brother, bro. He loved that guy. So I'm not sure about this betrayal thing. I think that it was genuine, that he really is about getting him his girl back, because he did have remorse about that. So I think it's a genuine situation, that Meliodas is seriously going to tell him about where Gelda is and how to free Gelda and how to recover Gelda, or even release Gelda himself when he has sufficient power. Because, I don't know, that doesn't make sense. He sealed him, so he should be able to unseal him whenever.
No. I do agree with you, Grimm. Like, I don't buy into the theory. I'm more of the opinion that he is telling the truth, and Gelda is sealed somewhere, maybe in the ruins of Edinburgh. We don't know. But at the same time, I'm just labeling it as a possibility. It's a theory I came across when the chapter was out, and then when I looked closely, I was like, we have actually no indication she's actually alive technically, and it's not an impossibility. I'm just posing it as a possibility rather than, I don't believe it. I think that, yeah, he was telling the truth because he is regretful about his brother and how that shit went down. So,
if Meliodas is lying and she actually died, I'm probably gonna cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you save that
Ultimate.
for off stream and off review. You know.
All right, guys.
Oh, dude, that's why I drink in my reviews, man. That way I can just cry myself, into a beer glass. No shame.
Jesus.
Was there anything else we had to address about the fight?
Not about the fight. I mean, like, there was one part about the chapter, if you don't mind. Can I bring it up?
Either way, bro.
Alright, so this might be an open and shut kind of case, but when Ruduciel makes mention of, like, having, like, he said he gave up, like, his...
Stop. Look, bro.
No, keep going.
Look,
keep
bro.
going. Tucker.
Look. I swear to God.
Yes, Grill Grimm.
I swear to God,
so
bro.
he said he gave up friendship, he gave up love, and he's holding a body, and I don't know whose body it is, because someone mentioned in the comments that it was Mael.
No.
But he didn't have the long hair that he doesn't have the long hair that Mael has, and he has more stubble down his cheeks than Mael has ever had. Mael only has like a small goatee kind of thing. So I have no idea whose body that is, but it's a dude. And Ruduciel happens to make mention of lover, and I'm just like, does Ruduciel swing that way?
Look, bro. This guy looks.
I mean, he's in a girl's body right now, so yeah.
Yeah. There is seriously a joke to be made there about him being gay and trapping in a woman's body. There's some joke, but that's not beneath me. I'll probably figure one out.
All right, look. To put the whole bullshit aside, look, he looks like Hendrickson. Look at Hendrickson. Look at that guy. He looks like Hendrickson. I found it weird that he's taking such a liking to Hendrickson. Not just because he's obviously the next up-and-coming substitute vessel for him in case something happens in this fight. That's probably the reason why he's taking care of him so easily and so quickly as well. But there may be some type of, like, relation going on there in terms of memories. If you notice in the last... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, in the last chapter, I believe it was the last chapter, one before that, when Hendrickson saved him the second time, he didn't scold him as much. I believe it was kind of like an endearing, like, just stay over there, I can handle the rest, or whatever situation. I am not under the belief that he's gay, but it's his brother, bro. It's his brother. It's his cousin. Right? It's his best friend. What were you gonna say, Manga?
Also, in last chapter, there was a point where I think he like saved Hendrickson from like hitting the wall or something, and there was a line, I can't remember the exact line, but he's like, shoot, I can't remember the line, but he like grinned at Hendrickson, and it was like a weird moment. It was a one-panel thing, and I was like, what does that mean? But now that you guys are mentioning that, it's like, ooh, there is something there. I don't know.
No,
I just remember thinking it. You guys are like making it make sense.
No. You're good, Fairy. There's not. You're good.
I know. See, that's what I'm saying. Because like I was also under the kind of, I had the same view as Grimm in the sense that their interaction has been really, really weird. It's been like very like for someone as cold as Ruduciel is to like other humans, Hendrickson is just like they're best buddies, and he's just there like smacking his ass before he makes a play and shit like that. And I'm just like, like, I'm not sure exactly like
found a favorite.
Yeah, so I'm not sure like how their relationship is, but like there has been a reincarnation kind of theme in Taizai, so it's not too far fetched to think that maybe Hendrickson is kind of like a reincarnation to the body that he might be holding.
We gave the parallel of Ro died in a similar time period as when Ruduciel may have made a sacrifice, and he was reincarnated into this time period to be King's Guardian. So there could be a correlation in terms of that as well. Hendrickson being alive in this time period.
Plus, it would make sense if he was reincarnated because he was born into the religion of Druids, which worship the god. So it kind of correlate with like the whole resurrection or like something along those lines.
Do we have lore for that in terms of them, like for them reincarnating shit like that, or no?
I don't think we do, but it wouldn't be too much of a stretch.
No, it makes sense like that. Yeah, I'm just saying like.
If any group to do it, they'd be the one to do it.
They would literally be the ones to do it. Yeah. Plus, they managed. No, because those two little girls, they were angels themselves, correct? The ones who maintained the goddess Amber that held Meliodas' power, or were they druids?
Or druids.
Or druids.
But you talk about the two girls at the druid.
Where they did the training stuff. Yeah, they were druids.
Oh, wait, weren't those actual goddesses put in those bodies?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought that they were actually goddesses.
Yeah. At least what I've heard. I could be wrong.
They don't have the eyes.
Well, they're considered druids, but let me go deeper.
Yeah,
Former members of the goddess clan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they,
What does being a former member of the goddess clan mean, though?
I'm looking.
It's like Meliodas is a former member of the demon clan, bro.
Still a demon, though.
You can say that.
They held the rank of divine soldier, so I assume they were actually... It's a goddess, but they might have a more human body now. Or something.
Yeah, because they don't have wings, and they don't have friggin'...
I think those are just, like, vessels, I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Yeah. Because there is a picture of them with wings in the past, so... I mean, it makes perfect sense, you know. Leading the druids would be a goddess clan member.
Yeah.
Right.
So...
Alright, any more contention about the situation? Or are we good to go?
I mean, I think it's pretty. I think the dust is settled.
Yeah, I ship.
Alright, man. So I guess Zeldris won the versus match.
Oh
no.
Alright, guys.
I think we all agreed the fight's gonna get interrupted regardless. But I'm saying it flat out. Escanor is gonna do more damage than Zeldris to Escanor. That's my prediction.
Well, you want to put a name bet on it?
Escanor is damaging this man for sure.
You want to do a name bet?
Let's go, man.
All right. What's the name title? For how long?
If Escanor takes more damage, then you got to change your name to Big Daddy Zeldris for a whole week.
Big Daddy Zeldris.
Daddy Zeldris.
All right. I'll bet it on that.
All right.
Now we have to wait to the end of the fight because, as I said before, the next chapter might not be the end of the fight. So we got to wait to the end of the whole fight.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, agreed.
Agreed.
All right.
Ooh.
Alright,
I'll
guys.
bet my name on that. I'll bet my name on
Daddy
that.
Zeldris.
This is
Wait,
going to
but
get
if you-
ridiculous.
Anybody
But
else want to hop in?
if you win, what does Grimm change his name to?
Praise the sun.
Ooh. Yeah. Praise the sun. Redestiel is gay confirmed.
Whoa. We ain't doing all that, right? Oh, shit. No, it really won't fit. All that won't fit, so you gotta choose something else.
Okay, you can just change it to Gay Flash.
Oh, my God. Alright, bro, you got it.
Oh man.
You got it. We're gonna count everything that happens to Escanor, and when he's on the ground bleeding, spilling up blood, holding his panties together, you change your name to Big Daddy Zeldris.
Man, you really shouldn't have taken this bet, man.
I'm taking this bet. He's already taken down two of the chumps of the royals of the demon clan. He's just looking for the full threat, man. He's looking for the whole set. You ever collect cards or something? You want the whole set. You don't just stop at 2. You go for the 3.
He's going for the trifecta. Let's go.
Go for that hat trick, man.
Except
Go for that hat trick.
Astarosa was a special edition rare because he wasn't actually a member.
Right.
There you go. So he's taken down more than they even have.
Limited edition.
All right, guys. To all the viewers, if you guys want to take the bet too, hop in the Discord and then we can get you guys set up for your name exchanges. Also, this is a premiered event, so we should be in the chat with you right now talking to you. Drop who you think is going to win the fight with the hashtag of their name. So hashtag Escanor, hashtag Zeldris, and we'll give you a shout out in the next podcast whenever we discuss the results of the fight, man. I guess so. We're going to get our plug outs and then head on out, man. If you guys would just give your outros real fast. Top to bottom.
I'm honored to be on the first time on the podcast. I'm honored. Just want to say thank you for having me.
Bro, plug your channel in and shit. Come on, Blake.
Blake the Awesome. I do manga reaction to 7 Deadly Sins, sometimes My Hero Academia, and Attack on Titan.
Badass. All right, man. Greaver?
All right, well, thanks for having me as always. It's always a hoot and a half talking to all of you. Greaver, I think 8063 is the new channel name. I review manga, do Shokugeki no Soma, One Piece, and of course 7 Deadly Sins. So go check that out if you're interested.
Hey,
Kishin Prime here. Yeah, most of you know me, but I do One Piece, My Hero, 7 Deadly Sins, obviously, or otherwise I wouldn't be here. Boruto, Attack on Titan, and some others. So check it out. Their playlists and all that, easy to find.
Yo, Sundown Rider.
What the fuck?
do
Oh, you're
One
skipping
Piece.
niggas?
Come again?
Nothing. Go ahead. I think Fairy will need a second.
Manga Fairy is muted.
Oh yeah, you want to go? Okay, I'll just do mine. Sundown Rider. I'm doing One Piece, do Taizai, One Punch Man, and My Hero. That's about it. Check me out.
Hey, One Punch. What's
Go
up,
ahead,
Okay,
Manga
is it
Fairy.
Fairy? Yeah.
All right. Thank you for having me again. Hopefully, I get to join more often if my schedule permits. You can find me on YouTube at Manga Fairy. Obviously, I do live reaction to 7 Deadly Sins, Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest, Eden Zero, Fairy Tail Season 3 reactions, and Attack on Titan. So go ahead and check me out there.
I might have to hop on.
Here you
that,
go
bro.
here. I do reactions to One Piece, Hero, Taizai, Black Clover, and that's it. Light reviews too, not really chapter to chapter basis because I don't really believe in that. But check me out. Also follow me on Twitch.
You don't believe in that?
Eventually.
This guy. This guy. What you play though?
Oh, Smite. Really single player story driven games. GTA Online. I fuck around with different shit.
For Honor?
That's a game I would never play on stream because I get way too mad.
You can your ass beat
That's
up.
why you gotta play on stream.
I'd be on stream like, what the fuck? No! Like this.
But that's
Yeah.
content.
That's the one, man.
Yeah, dude, don't you know the
Working
secret
that
to getting
controller
viewers?
keyboard.
People do like that. People do
Yo,
like that.
I get so mad. Oh, dude, For Honor is. Oh, don't even get me started on that game.
All right, guys. Remember to like the video. I think the goal for today should be like 30 likes. 30 likes. We got quite a few people, bro. 30 likes, bro. 30 likes.
Like the
and,
fucking stream.
And Greaver takes his shirt off in his next review. You already know it, bro. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys later on, man. Yo!
Peace.